You got the job? You passed the test? They said, "You're brilliant." But something inside you whispers, they must have made a mistake. You smile, you nod, but deep down you're just waiting for the moment they find out that you're not that smart, not that capable, and definitely not as good as they think. If that feels familiar, you're not alone. Welcome to the mental prison known as imposter syndrome, a silent battle fought by millions of high achieving people, especially the smartest ones. But why? Why do intelligent, capable people feel like frauds? Why do the ones who should feel confident feel the most insecure? Today we're diving into the psychology of self-doubt, competence, and the twisted logic of the imposter mind. Imposter syndrome isn't a clinical diagnosis, but it might as well be. According to studies, around 70% of people will experience it at least once in their lives. But it hits hardest in high performers, students, professionals, creatives, entrepreneurs. In fact, the more you achieve, the worse it can get. Because every new achievement feels like another lie people believe about you. It's like living in a house of cards. One strong win, one mistake, and everything comes crashing down. This promotion, I was lucky. That praise, they're just being nice. That win, I only succeeded because I fooled them again. This is more than insecurity. It's a distorted belief system, one that disconnects your real abilities from your self-perception. And the smarter you are, the deeper that gap can become. So where does this come from? It often begins in childhood. Imagine growing up being called the smart one, praised not for effort, but for being gifted. You get top grades, impress teachers, maybe even skip a grade. But here's the trap. You learn to equate success with being naturally brilliant. The moment something feels hard, the moment you struggle or fail, you panic because it means you're not who they said you were. This pressure builds silently over time, and eventually you become afraid not of failure, but of being seen trying. Because trying means you're not effortlessly perfect. It's not just childhood praise. Family dynamics, cultural expectations, and comparison culture all feed the monster. Some were told they'd never amount to anything, so every win feels like borrowed time. Others grew up in marginalized communities, feeling like they had to work twice as hard to be taken seriously. And then there's social media, a constant highlight reel that makes everyone else look confident, successful, and flawless, while you feel like a fluke. Imposter syndrome is often tied to perfectionism. Let me explain. You set impossibly high standards. You work hard to meet them. You succeed. But instead of feeling proud, you feel relief. Because in your mind, that success wasn't proof of your ability. It was proof you got away with it this time. Then what happens? You minimize the success. You move the goalposts. You feel like you have to do more, be more, just to stay ahead of being found out. It becomes a loop. Pressure, achievement, doubt, pressure again. And each time your confidence doesn't grow, it shrinks. You start believing that confidence is something other people have, not you. But here's the twist. Most people don't feel confident before doing something great. They feel confident after doing it again and again. Imposter syndrome steals that feedback loop. It tells you you only succeeded by chance. So your brain never gets the chance to learn from your own success. Now here's the paradox. The smarter you are, the more you tend to doubt yourself. Why? Because intelligent people are more aware of what they don't know. They see the complexity. They see the gray areas. They realize how little they understand compared to the vastness of knowledge out there. Meanwhile, the Dunning-Kruger effect tells us that people with low ability often overestimate themselves. So while the unqualified walk around with certainty, the competent sit in silence. wondering if they're good enough. Being smart doesn't protect you from self-doubt. It exposes you to it. Imposter syndrome isn't just a mindset issue. It can shape your entire life. You procrastinate because starting is terrifying. You overwork, trying to compensate for a fraud you think you are. You avoid opportunities because what if you fail publicly? Worse, it creates a disconnect. You stop enjoying your wins. You feel numb to praise. You become emotionally exhausted from constantly pretending to be confident. And maybe the worst part, you feel alone, like you're the only one wearing a mask. But here's what you don't see. That professor you admire, that artist you follow, that speaker you respect, they've felt it too. They've all had moments where they thought, I'm not good enough. You're not alone, and you never were. So what do? First, name it. Recognize when the voice of the imposter is talking. Awareness breaks the illusion. Second, separate feelings from facts. Feeling like a fraud doesn't mean you are one. Emotions are not evidence. Third, track your success. Write down your wins, even the small ones. Revisit them often. Let your brain see the pattern. Fourth, redefine success. Not as perfection, not as being right, but as growth, effort, learning. Finally, speak about it. When you say it out loud, hey, I feel like I'm faking it sometimes. You'll be surprised how many people say, me too. Connection heals the shame. Let me ask you something. What if you really are as capable as they say? What if your intelligence, your drive, your curiosity isn't a trick? What if it's real? And what if the voice telling you otherwise, the one that says you're a fraud, is just a scared part of you, trying to protect you from disappointment? Imposter syndrome is loud, but it doesn't have to be in charge. Let it ride in the car, but don't let it drive. You don't need to feel like an imposter to stay humble. You don't need to doubt yourself to grow, and you don't need to be perfect to be enough. Being smart doesn't mean knowing everything. It means being willing to learn again and again. So the next time your brain whispers, you're not good enough, whisper back, watch me.